Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here again. I hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. We're taking a look here at Terra once more, kind of understanding, again, mostly best practice and big picture. If you're looking for I don't know, somebody to tell you it's going to go to the moon or maybe a doom and gloom, that's not really what we're here for. I like to kind of talk some sense into you and help you understand, what could possibly happen and what's the best way to approach a coin like this, right? We don't have these situations very often. A lot of people lost a lot of money and it really sucks, and I'm sorry to hear that. But there can be a potential recovery if you're willing to consider some alternative options. We'll cover that and much more. Not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. My goal and passion is just to help other people become financially stable. I can tell you it's a healthy lifestyle. Trading is very easy. Sorry, I misspoke. It's not easy. It takes some work, but it's easy in the sense of the fact that this kind of lifestyle is not challenging or crazy, stressful. It can be very comfortable if you're smart and you use good risk tolerance and you just have a good mindset. So try to exercise your body and your mind to make sure that you are comfortable and in a good place in your life, because that really makes a big difference. If you are stressed out to the max and you're trading, revenge trading, those things end up burning a lot of people. Either way, I cover that in my trading academy. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site. Link in the description below. I have third world country discounts as well as, basically low income housing, but also military as well. So thank you for your service if you are, military of any sort. Thank you. Taking a look here at Luna, here's what's going on with the 4 hour. I just pulled this up because the daily's still kind of thrown off for the moment. We could technically look at the daily, but we got to squeeze it out a little bit. And we can kind of see there's not a tremendous amount. It's just working within the Fibonacci retracement levels. It found its lowest point so far and its highest point as well. So we're probably going to be range bound for some time until some kind of fundamental catalyst occurs. But for now, this is essentially what we're looking at. It's not fantastic. We had a really strong green day followed by 3 red days. And then take a look here at the 4 hour. Here's kind of where we're at with this guy. And again, we can't use moving averages. Kind of the traditional sense of trading is out the window in a lot of ways of using past data. I covered this yesterday. I'll cover it again just to make sure if you're new. You got to understand, when it comes to good technical analysis, a lot of it's just a matter of history repeating itself. Well, history hasn't repeated itself here in this sense because this is a new territory, right? We're an undiscovered territory to the downside, essentially price discovery. So what we can do is really, for the most part, use Fibonacci retracement levels as a guide on where to go next. So I'll explain that here and kind of give you some averages as well, based on traditionally what's supposed to happen with Fibonacci retracement. And I did cover this previously and let you know that in most cases the price will average itself out on momentous trends. And we got to understand, from bottom to top here, if you got in at the bottom there, you're looking at like a 21,000% return. Okay, so not a lot of folks got lucky with that. Generally speaking, buying low, selling high is very difficult if you buying at the lowest and selling at the highest point. So again, that's best case scenario. That's not where most people are at. Most people got in, somewhere in the 100 to 150 range and are trying to figure out if it's worth holding. And that's what we're here for, is try to identify that, because big picture, if we look at this here, again, it's not really all that big of a picture. This is really 4 trading days. We can kind of see that the price has averaged itself out at 0.382. Now, that's a very common Fibonacci retracement level. And what I mean by common is when the price has a significant momentous uptrend. It's commonly followed by a retracement to 0.5 or 0.382. It's a very, very common characteristic. So you can see the price comes down, wicks all the way down to 0.5, comes back up, tries a second rally, gets rejected again off that resistance level, and has been slowly bleeding out ever since. But the bottom line here is that 3 days later, we're right at almost this average middle ground. So again, future reference, if you're ever using Fibonacci retracement, 0.382 and 0.5 are common places you'll see the price kind of relax and come back down to. What that means for us in big picture is that we are technically, again, this is a stretch because we don't have enough data, we are technically making higher lows. So this next push up, if it breaks this trend here, we'll be making higher highs, and that would confirm an uptrend. It's still too early to tell for right now, because you could argue that we're making lower lows, which is very true, but depending on how far you go back, we're making higher lows still, okay? So again, there's different schools of thought there, but generally speaking, this is one of those situations where it's going to be a gamble either way. And the reason why is because we don't have enough data to really truly understand where it's going to go next. It's all speculation, and that's really what it is. So just understanding that, like, do you want to make a strong investment on something that's a complete wild card? Well, if your answer is yes, you're probably in the wrong industry, because I can tell you good traders don't gamble very often. I'll admit, I threw a few dollars at this previously. I got 1,000% return and got out of it. It wasn't a lot of money, so it was just kind of more fun to see what would happen. If you're going to do that moving forward, please use smaller amounts, protect your investment. Something like this should not be a long-term investment. We've seen what it can do and what it can't, and we need to acknowledge the fact that this could very well dump down to zero again. We never truly know. Yes, there's a lot of stuff going on in the industry here. They're trying to recover things, but it just seems like a last-ditch effort, and I don't think it's going to really come to full fruition. If this continues to increase, that'd be fantastic. It may slowly do so, but once again, we don't have enough information yet to identify that that's a possibility. So again, whatever you do with this, feel free to consider it as a gamble, and the likelihood of you losing that money, if not all of it, is great. Like, most people that I know are averaged between $50 and $80 before this happened. That means you have a 99.9% loss. So feel free to add to your position right now and to average your price down with the potential of it coming back up and hitting that level. That's essentially what I did too, is I bought a bunch of coins at a stupidly low price, took my previous average of $52 and took it all the way down to decimal points, and was able to recover basically my losses. That's really what it was. You can do that now potentially as well. Again, potential is the key, because right now we don't have enough data to really truly understand what's going on. We can look at the 1 hour and kind of see if we're making higher highs and higher lows, but generally speaking, it's really kind of drawing dead. And one thing that's really kind of important to understand too is if we take a look at this and compare it kind of with Bitcoin's price movement, I know it's not exactly the same, but there are some correlations, whereas the price, here when I was trying to kind of recover, it went down, right? So very similar behavior here in that sense if we look at both, all right? Again, not completely synonymous. Luna is going to be fairly independent in a lot of ways right now from Bitcoin, but when we see a sell-off from Bitcoin, we saw Luna come down. We're expecting Bitcoin to come down here in the near future, so what's going to keep Luna from going down? Well, it would have to be Bitcoin increasing and breaking some key level resistances. That's just my speculation here. I do feel personally that Luna will inevitably come down with Bitcoin, and it'll also inevitably increase with Bitcoin. It won't be completely synonymous. Once again, we've seen this, this behavior is very independent of Bitcoin in a lot of ways, but it's just important to acknowledge. Okay, there's just something I want to throw out there. I like to kind of confirm that. So again, a lot of times when you're analyzing altcoins, finding and identifying the correlation between Bitcoin and this altcoin is important. While we're not completely synonymous, we are fairly in line. So if you take all this and kind of do away with it and you just look in the last 12 to 24 hours, you can see a very, very similar trend. And that's very common for coins once they eventually hit the reset button after having these parabolic increases. 9 times out of 10, you see a parabolic increase, like take KuCoin, for example. It shot almost all the way up to a full $1. It's been struggling ever since, but the main thing you'll see is that it went independent of Bitcoin, it completely separated itself, and it hit its highest point, just like Luna did here. It inevitably became synonymous with Bitcoin, and now everything Bitcoin does, KuCoin does as well, okay? So, to be successful in this industry is really to try to identify coins that move independent of Bitcoin and to identify those trends. We don't see a lot of that right now because there's so much fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market, especially with this. It's added a lot of unnecessary, I don't know, negativity, or just, fear and greed index is like an 8 right now. It hasn't been this low. It didn't even get this low last year when we hit 30,000. So it's an insane situation, and it's really interesting the way that it's working right now. So nonetheless, just be careful. I think that's the kind of the takeaway here. I always like to just kind of express, just make sure that you are protecting yourself, okay? This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? This is something that will burn you if you do it wrong or incorrect. Just know whatever you put into this, it could very well go down to zero and you could lose out. All right, that's just the probability here. Anyways, that being said, now that's averaging out at 382. We need some more time to be able to kind of see if it's going to come up again. What we do is pay attention to Bitcoin's behavior and also Luna's as well. So if Luna continues to be synonymous with Bitcoin here in the near future, we can expect the average price or the true range for Luna to be somewhere in the range of 115 upwards of 250. So we'll probably be range bound for some time until Bitcoin makes a decision. That's my speculation. All right, so just pay attention to Bitcoin is, I guess, the key takeaway here and see if the behavior is synonymous. So far, last 24 hours, it has proven to be so. All right, again, just something to think about. So I hope you learned something here today, of course. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a quote-unquote prediction on specifically what direction it's going, but I can tell you, you'll either get wrecked or you won't. So, I'm sorry to laugh at that, but that's just the truth and stark reality here, okay? My prediction is that Luna will be complete crap or it'll be completely awesome, all right? So we still don't have enough data to figure that out. That's the bottom line, and I hope that you can understand and respect that, but all good either way. If not, I hope you learned something here. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll go ahead and take a look at this here again tomorrow. Have yourself a great rest of your day. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site. Link in the description below. Be happy to get to know you better and work with you there. Have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.